はいどうも、さとりです。
My own brothers died tragically as
サイ
well,
ラスの
truth
復
be
讐の動
told.
機が明かされます。
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about, but Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
さて、今回のテーマはワイルドバンチ。映画の題材としてよく取り上げられ、西部劇の代表格とも
I've
言え
been
る
on
ロ
their
ー
trail
サ
for
ー
months,
最近だと
ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
ちなみに、リーダーのブッチ、キャシディ
Led by
は
Butch
23歳の時に
Cassidy.
初の強盗を
They
行
were
う
a
の
loose
ですが、
association
そ
of
の時の
outlaws
世
who
界
robbed
金額が
banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
You were
part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers. I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say? I can't hear a god.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there. I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day. As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
その分、一発食らった時のリスクも高いので素早く倒す必要があります。
You ain't seen the lights.
At times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot
こ
back.
のドラム缶撃ちは気持ちいいですけど、なんで車両内にドラム缶か、というのは野暮ですね。こうやって崖際に登れますが、こっちからは進めません。先ほどちらっと見えたはしごから移動しましょう。
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a
You mean
hand.
like that giant Pinkerton posse
さて、
that I read
ここで
about?
ピンカートン探
Did they
偵社の
come
面
riding
々が、
in, guns a-blazing to help?
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome. As usual.
Who the hell is that? He's out of his mind!
ということで、いつも通り一人で戦っていきましょう。
Retreat! He's killing everybody! Hell, take it up! They'll kill us all!
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened,
さて、
did they?
ここでお楽しみのガトリングゲーム。
Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on Bob's trail.
両国戦まで加速。
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang.
ジョージ・カーリーはワイルドバンチのメンバーの一人で、史実では保安
And
官に
Kid
射殺
Curry.
されています。
And maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild
カーリ
Bunch
ーを倒して
behind
なお、肝
and
心の形
decamp
が
for
見つから
South
ないまま、
America.
ワイルドバンチとの戦いが続きます。
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that. I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, because I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
あえなく自ら命を絶つこととなります。サイラスは、ボブも共に行動していると踏んで、きっとカーリーたちの行方を追います。
That kid Curry's kinda crazy, ain't he?
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado. Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards
女性
down.
が多い場所に入ってしまいましたが、取り落ちます。
Old Bob wasn't among them, neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
あまりにも露骨な手がかり。
And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
ここで、鉄道橋を爆破する計画を知ります。なぜ石なんて残るものに書いたのか。ともかく、
The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
ということで、爆破を阻止するためにサイラスは向かうのでした。
Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the wild bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me.
つまり、この爆破は積んである金塊を強奪するための手段。
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my
このシリ
attention.
ーズおなじみのとんでも地形変化です。
You blow us up
プレイ
now.
する側もこ
Don't
の
worry,
変
I
化
know
の
what
乗
I'm
って感じ
doing.
がしてきますね。さて、ここで先輩たちが、誤ってダイナマイトを撃たないようにします。
But the wild bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
このステージ、ライフルで戦闘していますが、おすすめはショットガンです。数少ないショットガンが活躍できるシーンではないでしょうか。じゃあなぜ使わないのかって？ぶっちゃけに超拳銃で事足りるからです。
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
今のように弾かれてしまいますからね。さて、時間の都合で残りの解除もサクサクとカットします。
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress.
さて、
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. I thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Some bitch is pissing me off.
さて、きっとカーリー戦は前後編に分かれていて、前半はダイナマイトを逃げて、ガソリング砲を破壊するコードです。この岩壁に隠れて、ちょうど木が見えますでしょうか。この木を目印にダイナマイトを投げます。そうすると、ドレージが入るので、あとは胴体を上に出してダイナマイトを連打すれば勝てます。
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
後半戦は決闘です。この辺から、フォーカスの基準が厳しくなるので、慣れないと連敗することもしばしばですね。
fast
お
as
お
he
よそ9割
was,
前後をキープできれば、ま
I
ず
was
負けません
just
か
a bit faster. And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He
さて、
shouted at
訴え
me.
る直前に、ボブが
Is that
南
what
米に
this
行っ
is
たとの情
about?
報がもたらされました。
Bob went with Butch
そう
and
なる
Sundance
と、
to
さすがに
South
成績は困難となります
America.
が
You ain't never finding him. Those were his last words.
不穏な空気が残る中、次回へ続きます。